Cathwell Stationery Services Limited announces its massive blowout sale on all stationery for school and office. Get copy paper at just $18 per ream. Enjoy up to 18% off folders, cardstock, Bristol boards, ink and toner cartridges, laptops, office furniture, and more. To order now, call 442-5848 or 5747 or call 435-3377 and get free delivery island-wide and the lowest prices nationwide. Or visit our outlet on Scott Street, St. George's, where we guarantee the lowest prices daily. Cathwell Stationery Services Limited, the reliable office supply people.
For a limited time, the NLA has dropped all of the 2X balls from the multi-X draw. This means that you, our valuable players, have greater chances of multiplying your winnings up to 5 times more in our 2X drop promotion. Yay! And that's not all. As an additional bonus, there will be fewer free play or FP balls to draw from too. Now you have more reasons to add multi-X to your playway bets. So, value your dreams, win your way, and multiply your winnings up to 5 times more in the NLA's 2X Dropped promotion. Promo runs until Friday, 20th October.
Yeah. Welcome to Ride Along Live for today. It is Monday. Yeah. I'm on assignment in Grenada, guys. Nevertheless, I have a duty and obligation to fulfill, so I am here. Sharon, how are you? Big up yourself, Sharon. True diehard supporter, Sharon. Big up yourself. Big up and thanks to Rochelle Botang. How are you doing, guys? Yes, guys, it's my duty and obligation. No matter if I'm on vacation, if I'm on a cruise, it doesn't matter. My duty and obligation is to come at 6 o'clock, and that's our time. That's our time, right? That's our time. Correct? Exactly. So I'm happy, guys. I'm happy to be here again as we continue on a conversation that we started last Wednesday, right? For those of you who did not remember, we had this exclusive one-on-one conversation with Mr. Denise Charles. Now, Denise Charles was a POW, if you want to call it that. He was arrested during the Revo for an extended period of time. His claim was that he was brutally beaten, he was shot, he was abused, everything. It was terrible, horrible, the ordeal that Mr. Denise Charles went through. In fact, he had so much to say that we could not have completed the entire interview in one show. So I promised you that we'll come back and do a part 2. So here we are today. But today we have a little extra on top of Mr. Denise Charles' interview. Earlier today, I had an opportunity to meet with one of the only surviving members, right? He is widely acclaimed as the leader. He might dispute that, but that's what people think, that's what people say. Word on the ground is that he was one of the leader of the Mangoose gang. So earlier I got a chance to meet with him, and you might be surprised. You might be surprised some of the things that was said, but stay tuned for that. So there's a whole lot to talk about, guys, as we try to put this historical journey into perspective. Because as I said when we first started on this journey of probing history, it is so fragmented, and oftentimes it's hard to get people to talk about their recollection. People shy away from talking about this, but we are trying our best to get it, not only in October, but as long as we get it, we are going to be bringing it to you. All right? Okay. All right, so let's go right in, guys. Everybody share the program. Everybody share. Everybody share. Sharon, you share. Jackie Chaitan, how you doing? I met your sister yesterday. Sweetness, you share? Good night to you. Dave Bertrand, how you doing? Big up yourself. If you share, just say I share. If you share, just say I share. Let me share as well. It is that important of a program today. Good night. Rachel, thank you for sharing. Thank you, Rachel. True and diehard supporter, Rachel. Big up yourself. Thank you so much. Good evening to you. Jackie, okay, thank you. Okay, guys, so let's go. Let's start. All right, so let's bring back on the program here Mr. Denise Charles. As I said, and for those of you who did not get a chance to see the entire first part of this interview, I urge you to go back and take a look at Denise Charles' interview part 1. We are going to be making some reference to some of the things that we spoke about in part 1, but there were some key elements, key facts that need to be inserted in his story. Okay? Mr. Charles, welcome back to the ride. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Junior, and fellow Grenadians. It's a pleasure to speak to you on our history, even though it takes a lot to go back there, the emotions and all of that, but it is time that truth be told.
Yes. Just for preview purposes, Dennis, I'm going to try to summarize part 1 of your story that you told. As a young boy in the Tivoli area, you were randomly picked up, and called a counter-revolutionary. You were arrested and thrown in prison with some of people that you thought was some hardened criminal, and was abused. You were shot. You even have the remnants of gunshot wound to your finger, which is not even operational, functioning right now. You have trauma and stress over what happened. Even now, you react to it when you are, when that time comes around.
Yeah.
So I want us to start, Dennis, again from that recollection of being shot at that point, and let's go into some other pieces of the story that we did not mention the last time. Let's talk about you being shot and why were you shot?
Yes. As I explained on the last show we did, I pretty much was a little nosy, and I jumped off from my bunk bed, the cell that I was at. We had two beds. I stayed on the fiber mattress below, and there was another fiber mattress, not wide, on top, and that was where Kennedy Boudlal stayed. So I didn't like it. I didn't want to stay nearby him, and I figure he's a Macman, and if I'm there, then I'll be a Macman too. Anything going down. So anyhow, that was in the Riemann Yard at the time. That's the first section before you get to the main tall jail itself, the main big prison that you see from Regal Cinema, or let's say Tong, right? So the Riemann Yard is the first portion you get to. So I was at the time in the Riemann Yard after being brought from condemned cell, which, as I told you, my first accommodation, my introduction to Richmond Hill Prison, was where they hung people. And at one point, they didn't close the gate good. I don't know if they were going to hang me or whatever it is. I did make it, and I saw the gallows with the big rope, the noose thing, and a trap door, like a kind of rectangle where you have to stand up on. And, the rope, I think they put some weights on you, either sand or a bucket of water to help. So by the time you reach down below the other floor with the weight on your ankle, if your neck can come out, well, you don't have anything left. You're dead. It was a very, very, so that's where I was. And it wasn't comfortable.
Right.
It was not a comfortable place to be. I have no idea why, they thought it prudent to put me there. But then again, The problem that I had was I am from Tivoli. So it is what it is. You cannot take that away from me. Um, so with respect to that night, with the shooting, as I explained, there were detainees out in the yard. We used to go out. There was a guy called Rasa Nanang. If we could have him on, he's a martial art, kung fu, or karate guy expert. He used to live in Trinidad, but he's from the River Road place there, and he used to train a lot of guys on push-ups and martial art and all of that, just fooling around and so forth. So, and then at night we go in the cell and sleep, but the place was open and the big tall walls, you can't go up there anyways. On top of that, they had a PRA booth with a big gun. So what happened that evening, I think those guys and them were outside and trying with a bench. You can't climb that wall anyways, right? It's too tall. And the PRA fired a warning shot. But all this concrete and all these walls, tall walls, if you let go a bullet, boom, you're going to hear boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Because it's just the echo or the ricochet of the song. Lo and behold, it was interpreted that detainees somehow had machine gun shooting back at PRA soldiers. And as I said, they admit to being paranoid. I mean, this was craziness. I mean, we don't have nothing.
Yes.
So how we could have this amount of arms? So then hell break loose now. They rush down a mile of PRA like ants when you poke an ant's nest. And how they come in, so they're shooting. They're shooting anything. The ground, the galvanized, the wall, they don't care. The pipe iron, everything getting bullet, right?
Someone asked a question, and before we go further, I see that was asked about twice. You mentioned that Kennedy Boudlal was a markman. Why was he a markman, and marked by who?
Well, number one, Kennedy Boudlal from the, of course, Tivoli area there too, used to be a commander, I think, of 3 barracks. I think he used to head the Pearls before they built the international airport in Point Salin and Granny Town. And I think he used to run Boulong or Mount Horn, something. They had a barracks over there too. So those areas. And of course, the great fallout with the guys up north, including Kennedy Boudlal and his brother, which is called Bok Boudlal, regarding River Antoine Estate.
Yes.
So let me expound on that.
Yes, go ahead.
The weed, the marijuana. So unknowing to most Grenadians, and some of them would hear that here for the first time, Kennedy Boudlal brother, the big one, we call him Russell. He used to open bowl for Grenada. He was a fast bowler. He was a weed man, if you want to call it pusher. He died now, right? But the weed was to make a profit so they could purchase arms and all of that to overthrow Gary. So the weed wasn't in an act by itself. It was part of the process of the revolution. You understand? Because when they sell the ganja, the NJM, No Drill Movement, used to benefit from the money they make, right? The weed used to come from Jamaica. So he used to go to Jamaica too. And he had that disco in Tivoli Junction playing music and drinks, but they had the weed there. A lot of Rastas were going to smoke, right? So, but that money, all that money, and he had, at one time he was in an estate up in L'Etage, which is, L'Etage is somewhere on the top side of Mount Rose. I think you could pass by Mount Rose Seventh Adventist Church, even the school, and go up there, Top Hill area there. That big estate up there. And he used to be transporting a mile of marijuana. That's before they overthrew Gary, right? And well, guess who used to be on the truck with him? Comrade Maurice Bishop. All of them are part of the marijuana stuff. They did help.
We're hearing it for the first time, so I just that has not been. Was that
Yeah,
ever?
that has not been told. So they had that marijuana thing to help overthrow Gary. So wherever they get the money from, even it's from the devil to get rid of Gary, because you know they had to get guns and all of that. But there was a little place by Miss Ramden in Tivoli, which is the grandmother of Livingston Nelson. The house was called the Buggy. His grandmother name was Stan Popo, you know. And they used to have some farming, chicken, eggs. On Sundays, you go there to buy your chicken and your tomatoes and different things, different things. That's where they started the cooperative. And folks like Teddy Victor, which they later jailed, and Ralph Thompson from River Road, which they poisoned in the prison. All of them used to be in Tivoli with those guys, but it was about revolution and getting rid of Gary, you know? Well, before that, they got rid of Belma and so forth. So I don't want to go back too deep into that, right? The situation with Belma. So when they grew out, they grew too big. They moved the operation to Pointsville Hill. And the guy in charge was a guy called Farmer Brown,
Right.
right? He died about a year and a half ago. Farmer Brown. So they had a lot of cabbage, lettuce, tomato, anything, eggplant, everything, string beans, and a lot of chicken. They expanded the farm. So yes, they were doing that and they were self-sufficient. They split the money. All those guys worked and they were able to eat. And it was like a community kind of stuff, you know,
Right.
cooperative. And that was very, very successful. So yes, Teddy Victor was, you know, very close to Bob Budlal and them. And they used to come up there. And Ralph Thompson too, preaching
Let me ask you a
revolution
quick
thing.
question, just
Yeah.
so for my clarification. I was told that the the overthrow of Gary was done in large part, by and large, by the folks in Tivoli, and Kennedy Budlal was a major part of that, right? And
That is correct.
that arrangement, like taking over the Grenville police station and Innocent Belma, the killing of Innocent Belma, and the arrangement was that, and correct me if I'm wrong, the arrangement was that if the revolution went through, then allegedly Kennedy Budlal and the team in Tivoli would benefit from the marijuana, from
Yes.
the use and access to the marijuana.
Yes.
Is that true historical recollection?
Yeah, that is true. And not only that, you had the River Antoine issue. So if you go back in history, you know, the plantocracy, the people who owned the large estates that exploited the working poor, right? Most of them couldn't read and write. And, you know, that's why they support Gary so, because Gary helped them out on the estate, right? So they had no retirement. They had no social safety net. There was nothing. Breaking work, cutting sugar cane, in River Antoine and doing all that hard work to boil the rum. And they had cocoa too, and a lot of banana. River Antoine had a lot of banana. Big, big, big bunches of banana. That time we had a boxing plant in Tivoli.
Right.
So they work hard. But at a certain age, just imagine you have a slip disc, you know, but if you don't work, you don't eat. There is no social security. There is no nothing.
Right.
So you work till you drop. And if you don't, you know, you can't make it, then your children don't go to school.
Right.
They have to follow you now and go and work to put food on the table. So in terms of the literacy, education level, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that is why it was so bad with all the estate people had to take their children to go and slave.
So we're saying, and I know we're going back a little bit because we wanted to
Yeah.
go on from where you were shot. So we were saying
Mhm.
that there was some sort of arrangement
Yes.
that weed, marijuana would be legal, and Kennedy
Yeah.
Budlal and his team and the team from Tivoli would play a big role in that marijuana in exportation or use.
Yes. Well, they were supposed to legalize. Remember, Peter Tosh had the song, "Legalize It."
Yeah.
Legalize it, and I will advertise it. Everybody, all those guys in Tivoli, look, the morning of the revolution, oh Lord, weed was everywhere.
So it was
And
an
they had,
expectation. It was an expectation
yes,
that would have happened, and they would have
yes,
been
and that is why the reason is most of the guys in the country who pick up the gun, they were Rastafari.
right.
The majority of the guys who fought the revolution, they were Rastas. That is why the Rastas play well, they get paid back. No good deed goes unpaid. They get paid back with Hopeville.
Yes.
So just stick a pin there. The majority of the fighters were Rastafari or they were smoking weed. I ain't gonna lie, I come from Tivoli, so Tivoli, La Poetry, and Conference is one place, one people, right? So the River Antoine estate was supposed to be part of the, you know, compensation, put it that way,
Right.
right? And the guys went already and took the books and they were going to run it like a cooperative. So all the people who retired and they had nothing, they would get something out of the profit from the rum. They make rivers in River Antoine, right?
Yeah.
So when you buy rivers rum and river and coke, you drink that River Antoine. That's where the rum is made, rivers. And so they were the people in the community. So a lot of people from La Poetry Conference, some from River Sally, but the majority of the people who work at River Antoine Estate are from La Poetry right there, anyways, right? And so they would see something. They would get, part of the fruits of their labor, some reward for all these years of slaving on the
Right.
estate. So so it's like you throw a red, like you tease them with something. All of them pick up gun with the expectation, okay, now weed is free. They ain't going to jail with us for a spliff. They were smoking all over the place. And that went on for a little bit. Unknowing to most Grenadians, guess who used to come up in Tivoli and smoke with them? Sit down right on the bridge by Miss Ramdeni. Because Jacqueline Creft house was right below the bridge. And Jacqueline Creft was with Bishop. Tivoli was Bishop's second home, in case people don't know. Bernard Code used to be up there too. But
Right.
Jacqueline Creft come from Tivoli right there. And right across the house is the buggy. So you cross the road, you're in Jacqueline Creft father house, Mr. Creft, Alan Creft. You back across the road, you get the buggy,
Right.
which is the grandmother of Livingston Nelson, Jenga Nelson, that's Livingston bigger brother. And then the other one is Gravels, used to open bowl for Tivoli.
Right.
His real name is Rodney. So
Okay.
Ronald, Rodney, and Livingston.
Okay.
Even his sister got picked up during the
Yeah.
revolution. Her name is Rosalind by Ronnie Bob. I don't want to get into that. So
We will
people must,
we'll deep a little bit back here a bit, but
yeah,
again, I want to move forward because there is a lot of cover that we
a
need
lot,
to
a lot.
right? I really, really want you to talk briefly about Innocent Belma because it seems like we've been talking about everything else but Innocent Belma and who killed Innocent Belma.
All right. So I'll address the Belma issue this way. The one man that stood in the way of a revolution taking place in Grenada was Innocent Belma.
Yes.
Period. Jump high or jump low, because when he show up, everybody in Tivoli run. And nobody else, I don't care which part of Grenada you go, Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, nobody is going to take on Innocent Belma. They're scared. So who did they come to? And even before Belma, they made a lot of trials at taking out Bishop. Because not Bishop, I want to say, sorry. Eric Matthew Gary, Prime Minister Gary. Because he liked to party, right? Terre, all these different places where he liked to party, he liked to dance and fete, and all these people, ministers and other people come. But he used to be surrounded with so many police, right? And Gary is not a tall figure where you could poke out his head. Let's say you hide over there and get him. He kind of short. He wasn't a big man, He
Right.
wasn't a tall man that you could get him, and he
Right.
keep moving around. So the guys from Tivoli went on many, many, many missions in St. George to remove Gary from the battle, space, and he didn't walk out. So when you're talking about true revolutionaries, because their cause was, and they firmly believe, now they realize they were used. They firmly believe in the cause of fighting for a better Grenada.
What about
And
Innocent Belmont? Let's come back to that.
right, so Innocent Belma now stood in the way because they were scared of Belma, nobody else. So Belma had to go. Now, in Grenville and in the Pearls area, there was a guy called Mick,
Yeah.
right? So the conspiracies on how to get Belma, way to get Belma, and all of that, and took place between Pearls and Grenville. I don't want to call the names of the people in there that were involved in it, but even some of Belma's own relatives, without calling anybody name, played a part in it, in luring him to where he was shot, right? And before they finally got him, they made a couple of attempts, and he escaped by pulling into the lake in Granitown, driving fast around the corner because they were tracking him and all of that. Those guys used to stay all in the back of the waterfall, Annadale, and all of that. At one point, they tried many, many, many attempts. Maurice Bishop wanted them to minimize and like get Gary head
Right.
because if they get Gary, they're good. But if they can't get Gary, then Belma had to go. After Belma go, then Gary have nothing left.
I see. He was
It's
a
a
serious
cakewalk.
policeman. He was a serious
He
policeman.
don't play, and he could shoot. He don't play. So they really, really, and just to tell you, they couldn't get anybody else to do it. They couldn't get anybody else to do it. So at that time, the Tivoli guys were heroes. They were revolutionaries. All those after, they were what you call um, wannabes.
Right.
After the fact, they become revolutionaries. Before, nobody knew about them. They were nothing.
Right.
But long story short, you had Ronnie Nyack was charged along with Lauriston, Kennedy Budlal, um, and Maurice Bishop took the case, and he won the case, and Kennedy Budlal was released and freed. Well, they did put a pong on him. When they found him, he got beat real bad. But who was telling Bishop don't represent Kennedy Budlal was Bernard Code,
Right. Right.
but
Okay.
Bishop did.
And it did. Okay. I want to shift gears a little bit. I know we might be sounding as if we are stagnated in that portion of the story, but we're not. I just wanted that clarification. I remember Michael telling us the last time he was on the show that he specifically arrested Kennedy Budlal, right? And he was alleged to have been involved in creating the Molotov cocktail that was instrumental in the bombing at Queen's Park. Do you know about that?
That cannot be true. That's a big lie. Which Michael? Michael Derrick Roberts?
Yeah, I believe, if memory serves
No.
me right, and I could stand corrected.
Yeah, I think stand corrected.
Okay.
Because at that time, Kennedy Budlal was already in jail. Kennedy
Oh,
Budlal had known nothing about Queen's Park bombing because Kennedy Budlal was arrested during the day early. I got arrested when I came from the sugarcane field in Riverton Estate. Kennedy was in jail already, long time.
okay.
And I was shot. In fact, I was in the hospital when the bombing took place on June 19th. Kennedy was locked up in Richmond Hill Prison long before that time.
Okay. Well, I'm
That
going to
that
revisit. I'm going to
yeah.
revisit
Yeah, he
that.
don't know nothing about that. He don't even know. He wasn't even out.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
shift forward.
Yeah.
You being in prison now after so many years, after
Yeah.
so long period, and you were shot, right?
Yes.
You also made recollection of a number of names. I don't want to go back down that route again because it's been
Yes.
disputed. Your claim is being disputed by a number of individuals.
Yes.
Did the person mention in the last conversation Was he responsible for doing anything to you, or you heard that he did something to somebody else?
No, I didn't. It's not like I heard. I did an interview with the victim,
Yeah.
with the person that he brutalized.
But did you see? Did you
No,
see?
no, 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 no. I was not in Hopeville. He took him from the prison, from the fort to
Uh-huh.
Hopeville to beat him up and bring him back, right?
Right.
So that person reached out to me, and on two occasions, collecting evidence and information for my book, I personally, right, interviewed him on two occasions. Once was in a church
Right.
in Brooklyn. There was a friend who died from Montrose, Neville. I can't remember Neville's last name. Maybe some of you listening could put it up. He's the brother of Kenny Phillip, who used to play cricket for Grenada.
Right.
And the gentleman approached me and told me what Chicken did to him.
Right.
You know?
So in other words,
Yeah.
you didn't see. It's something that someone told you. So they have their own story to tell.
Yeah, the victim. So I took
The
it
victim.
directly from the victim and a
Right.
lot of folks that I interviewed for my book.
Right.
Exactly, even Super, which is Emmanuel Charles, also told me on the fort where
Right.
they hugged time on a chair and who used to come and practice kung fu on him because I think he's a martial art expert. He
Right.
said most of the other guys used to cover their face and all of that, kind of hide who they are.
Right.
But that certain person you're talking about, he ain't scared of nobody because he figure he could do martial art.
Right.
And he used to come and pong him soft,
Again,
handcuff.
I just want to be very blatantly clear.
Yes.
You did not see this happening. You
No.
personally did not see it. It was a
No.
story that was conveyed to you from persons who claimed
Who,
that they were involved.
who are beaten. And I could give you Super number.
Right.
And he
Fine.
live right on. Actually, if you're going up, you're in Grenada right now, you're going up to Tivoli. As soon
Yeah.
as you get to Bamboo Bridge, his brother has a shop right there. His real name is Emmanuel Charles.
No, I'll find
But
him. I'll find him. I'll find
so
him.
go talk to him yourself and videotape it.
I just wanted to just add that this is not something that you saw. Now let's talk about the
Yeah.
Mongoose gang. Let's talk about the Mongoose gang, right?
Mm-hmm.
What role did the Mongoose gang play? And how, from your recollection, how was the Mongoose gang treated in prison?
Well, they were treated like king and well, I don't know, they were not no female, so I would say they were treated like kings, and that was amazing to me because when I was in the Raymond Yard, and they decide, well, one guy from, well, we used to call all of them Mongoose gang anyway, because outside that's what we know. Algeria people, Mongoose gang. You're scared of them, is Mongoose gang, and this is so wrong. I used to do it too, right? Not knowing better. And when they decided to bring me there, one of them, I used to call him Mangoose Gang too. His name is Warm. I think Mr. Warm came from Grand Roy or Grove or somewhere on the western side, and he used to call me Feeny Hand, with my finger funny, my left hand, and he used to make fun of me. But I was scared of him, and he used to call me that stupid name. I don't know what he mean by that. Anyhow, so they took me out of there. Other guys from Tivoli used to wash my clothes. We didn't have no laundry, no nothing. We used to press our clothes by putting it under the fiber mattress and lie down on it. So when you spread your pants this way and you put it, and when you lie down on it 2 days, it press. We didn't have no iron.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in the back, we go to the pipe, but I couldn't do that. So Tower, which is a tall guy, used to play drums. He used to be in Granite Town with the tourists playing drums and all of that. He's the same one when he was passed in Tivoli Junction. That's after I got shot and Tivoli people were demonstrating. They make him hold a marijuana plant. And they walk him up and down, and after they arrest him for being a marijuana mongoose. The guy was passing. He wasn't even there. And he wasn't even living in Tivoli at the time.
Right.
So he's the same Tower. He died now, He died.
Right.
And they took him and he ended up in jail with me. So anyhow, he used to wash my clothes for me. And then they took me and they bring me in the infirmary informed remain you're sick. You're not, you're informed or whatever. So that's where I got to meet the Mangoose gang. I didn't want to go there. I figured they're going to strangle me because I'm from Tivoli and all that Gary Belma thing, I mean, I had nothing to do with it. I did not want to go near. I rather stay with Kennedy and face what I had to face. But I can't fight. They took me there. So that is how I came to know all of them, including the same town you talk about, Alston Hood.
Yes.
Pram, Willie, Kaiser, Let, all those guys are them. Heads, Edric or Hedrick, whatever, all of them. They guarded me. They protected me. As I said, some of them knew my dad. When they come up in the country, they pass and take a drink by my father's shop and all of that. And they were like my father. And that same town you talk about, those guys were this. Look, anything that I need, if they could do it out and give it to me, they would do it. I never see them ill-treat anybody. They treated me with utter kindness, and they were not beasts as I thought. Right? I told you about Kaiser. I used to draw on the mahogany. I used to draw a Grenada map for him. He used to live in Jean Anglais in the back behind Belmont. You could take that road to come back Springs on top of the hill up there. So when I was released, I used to go and bring mango and oranges and all of that for he and his wife. So I adopted him like my father, pretty much, But Tan used to let me stay in his house in River Road when I was working for the Grenadian Voice, Leslie Pierre. Those guys were not beasts. And here the other thing, that so-called Mangoose gang, when you're good at propaganda and you're doing a good lie, and Gary didn't push back, Jerry Romaine wasn't good at pushing back at the nonsense. Not one of the Mangoose gang, not one was ever tried for any killing or any crime, not even busting somebody's head. I know they broke up demonstrations and they were rough, but the only reason they call them Mangoose gang is not a gang Gary made to go and beat people. They work for the Department of Health. Because if you remember, Grenada had plantation with sugarcane, right?
Yeah.
So the rodent, big rat, they have sweet tooth. They like sugarcane.
Yeah.
So they used to eat the sugarcane at the bottom, which means they kill the stool, right?
Well, here's what I have a very exclusive interview that I collected with Tan. I want to play that.
Play that and I'll come back.
And then we'll piece it together and we'll talk about it, because basically what I understood, and let me just preamble this a bit, guys. Basically, what we understood, me included, myself included, is that the Mangoose gang was a ruthless set of people, right? And I've always tried to figure out, why were they even established? To just the whole idea of having them was just to beat up people. But after speaking to Tan, again, that's his story. From his recollection of it, it really wasn't so. Take a look at this first part of the interview that I did earlier today with someone that was revered or deemed as the head of the Mangoose gang, although he might dispute it, although he disputes it. Check out what he had to say. This is exclusive. Check it out.
We had to travel a little distance because I really wanted the story. I want you guys to take a look at it. This is the only surviving member of the Mangoose gang currently in Grenada, and we're going up to his house to chat with him. I'm interested to hear what he has to say. Take a look.
Well, my name is Alston Hood, but everybody know me as Tan. Right? I'm originally from River Road. Okay? But let's go back to the Geary era. I was a supporter of Eric Matthew Geary. Right? And there are a lot of things that have been said about Mr. Geary himself, which is not true. And one thing I will tell you first, they say Geary had Mangoose gang. Geary never had a Mangoose gang. This Mangoose gang originated from a gentleman from Guyana named Mr. Simpson. At the time, Eric Geary was out of power. He used to live up in number 5, up on Carnash Hill, in Mr. Raddick's house. And they came to eradicate mongoose. That was the thing they had. And they used to go in the fish market and buy the small jacks in basket, and they put a little poison, just like yeast, a little poison. It was a black one in the jacks, and they mix it up. The supervisor was Joe Gibbs, a man named Salfali, and Victor Husband. They were the supervisor. They had 3 Land Rover. And when they ting up the jacks, they had the lard pan, the old-time lard pan, where they make it into plastic bucket now. And they'll put some jacks in a bucket, at least 5 people and 1 van. I was working in it. They give us a pot spoon, and they give us a long red gloves reaching up under your elbow. And they used to send us in different directions to put poison for mongoose. So if a Land Rover will go in that area with 5, another one will go in that area with 5, and why should passing in the Land Rover, people saying, look, the mongoose gang passing. And that is how this thing started. Then when Leslie P and them formed the committee at 22, they bring the thing and say Geary Mongoose gang. As I tell you, Geary was not in power. But he spoke to Mr. Simpson, and I believe Mr. Simpson, let's put it this way, he asked for work for us because he wasn't working. And it was only about 15, 20, about 25 or 30 people was working in that thing. It wasn't a gang to say Geary had a mongoose gang, but as I tell you, they committed 22. Then they had some demonstration in town, and the Ministry of Health was right where you see a nice old building there, and they went up there, a fellow named Sabuna from St. David's, and they threw computer, typewriter, there was a typewriter in that time. They threw it out the window, and that is how it began. So this name Geary Mongoose end up with Geary. So it was about 8 or 10 of us. We should line together. You know how men line together, we go party and so on. And if we go to a party and something happened to you, it's obviously I was involved. So now something big, they say Geary to send people and beat people. Geary know a lot of things happen. Geary know nothing about it. Geary know nothing about it. And you know, they end up calling us the mongoose gang. Because where you go, the mongoose gang. But a lot of people have the wrong conception about the mongoose gang. Because it sounds like all over the island here, you had this gang calling mongoose gang, but it was not so. Anyhow, the name ended up staying with us. Before Bishop and them do take over, they had some confliction with some of the guys, like the Pam, the Willie, and so on. They had confusion with them. They say they beat them in Grenville, and Radix and them, they say they beat them in Grenville, right? And from that time, it going on, because I could remember Ralph Thompson that time. Well, it was 2 factions, I should say. NJM was something different to Bishop. NJM was Teddy Victor and them, and they used to make a little newspaper, and they used to pass in the house and scheme where we was living, and put the newspaper there for us, and they meet us in town and say, boy, you have to give us $1. So we used to go down good, and that's why you see they stick Geary this and Geary that and Geary the other. Up come the revolution now. The morning I get up about 5 to 6, and I hear in this thing, the Geary regime has been overthrown or something. So I leave by my house, and I go by Head's house, where he died. I go by Head's house. I say, what's going on? We know what's going on. So we talking and so on. So Heads had a girlfriend in Guav. So we decided, she had some friends, we decided we're going up there to look. He wanted to go up there. So we really went up there. So in going, the radio playing, and they said, the mongoose gang on the western side deal with them. So we went as far as Guav, and when we reached in Guav, we go by the station, and somebody contact Mr. Prudhomme. And Mr. Prudhomme was, all you come back down home and take it easy. Take that, what Mr. Prudhomme said to us, right? So we came back down, I went home, I cooked something to eat and so on, And I went by the road and sit down because I didn't know what was going on. Then, about 10 minutes after that, I hear a loud noise coming from the back of where the postal is there. And they come out all by way Steel High Garage. And the fellas, young fellas, with they was 303. And they're moving up and down and the thinking and so on. So when they reached by where I was sitting, me and a guy used to call Man, they pass and they go and they reach as far under the rocks. And if you have an idea where under the rocks is, they reach there. And I see a lot of reversing back. And when I look at it, I see Crawford Best. One of my very good friend. We used to play cards together, we used to eat together. He come back, he said, Ton, I want to leave you here, because them young boys are 3 in the hand, I know what they go do, and so on and so on and so on. So let's go with me. So I jump in the Rover. I had a partner nearby with the man. He said, well, I ain't staying here alone. All of us friends live in the same area are going too. So we jump in the Rover. The next thing I know, they bring me the radio grader. When I reach in the radio grader, I see all different kind of people there. And then when I see Victor was bad, I used to call him Daddy. I said, Daddy, he said, boy, you don't understand what's going on. And then when they keep us there till about 5 o'clock. And then they bring some truck and they say, put us on different things. But I live in, up, at the time I live in Tempe. No, I live in Revo. So I say, look, I glad I say I going home. So they come up, they go up the lane. When I be going down Tempe, I see the hit for up Richmond here. But I still didn't know what was going on. Until they swing. And when they swing and they reach by Mr. Friday place, and I see the head so, I say, Lord, they bring me in jail. Well, he brought us in the jail. Rampel was the main man when he reached there. Open the gate, them prison officers open the gate, and they put us inside it. Bogo. Well, the Monka people I meet down there, different people, right? I didn't meet Exeter Thomas and Pudom and them yet. They bring them. They had them in the fort. They had them in the fort before they bring them up there. So we there up there. Everybody sit down watching one that. Nothing. But them back with them forward. Them prison officers just doing so they know what's going on either. So they keep us. After they arrange cell, so they put us in cell 3 in a cell, 1 in a cell, and all the time. So we was in that. Then a couple of months after the revolution, I see they start bringing people, all kind of people. They bringing in and just bringing them and put them there and so on and so on. So a morning, they come and they take Willie Bishop, Dolly Passy, Albert Clark, Philip Brizan, and Buck Brizan. And they go with them. They leave me. And they go with them. When the fellas come back, they say they bring them and they charge them for beating people and all kind of thing. And they give them a charge, they leave me. Then about 2 weeks after, they call me and tell me, get ready, you're going. And then they bring me down there. And then they tell me, they charge me over, they push a man head down in a toilet, bowl and all kind of things. Anyhow, we go in jail. Mr. Ned was the judge. Case called. And then they bring all of us guilty. So they give me about 28 years, they see, 28 years. Because I use the word Laja. So I don't know what you mean by that. But anyhow, I was up there. Then, when I said up there now, they start bringing people. Who I knew was PRA member and so on. I see they bringing everybody to the guy. They saying counter revolution. They bringing people in jail. You're crazy. Every day they bring people in jail. Every day. When I'm ready, he had a nice car. He could put 2 or 3. He just bring it in the jail. People for so they bring in the jail. Then they bring Mr. James, Commissioner of Police. They bring Exeter Thomas, Chessman Thomas. They bring Prudhomme. They bring Winston White. A set of people they bring. It's counter-revolutionary. And they have us in the jail. And, well, the only problem I had is one evening about 5 o'clock, I was in the cell, and I hear the cell door lock. When I watch, I see Gahagan, he have a gun, all around it hole, like, hole. Sorry, and I come out, he say, click. He said, what Gary ever give you? I said, Gary never give me nothing. Who the house you live in? I said, my house. I get a pay from my house every month. What Gary ever give you? And he start thinking, I said, where you clock it thing? And he said, what Gary give you? I use the F word. And I said, give me nothing, so on. And he said, lock me back up. and he leave me there. And I remained there, all of us remained there until the invasion time. Well, no, before the invasion time. Long before the invasion time. They come and they say Bishop, they put Bishop on the house arrest. And then they start a big demonstration every day because where I was in A landing and it has a wire mesh, so I could have looked down and see all the back of us. And the demonstration taking place. And then one day now, they say they free Bishop, and they say they go in with him. After that, well, things getting a little calm. So we still looking down. One minute, if you hear a set of gunfire, and we see people jumping. You see right on the back of the fort there, you see people jumping, trying to think, and then we hear they say that they kill Bishop and them up in the fort. They say they kill Bishop and them up in the fort. So a couple of weeks after, once we there morning, we there, and we hear this thing of them helicopter making noise, and when I look out, I see a helicopter pass right in front of the prison with a soldier sitting down with the foot straight down. But they didn't. When they passed the prison, they didn't fire nothing. They leave and they go down so, and then they start shooting. Then the thing start, and they come here while the ship was up inside it. So some of them soldiers now they leave the prison, and they go up in the next fort up there by the crazy house, and then they start bombing. Why is we there? I hear a fella in the jail. I know how he get out. So we call him Crane. I know how he get out. But he get up thing and he start just breaking lock. And everybody start campaigning, everybody start trying to go. Well, I go on the wall and I end up down by the ministry down there now. I enter through the bush, I end up there. And I go up Marassil, I go down and I go through the bush in Tempe, River Road, and I went home. But when I went home, the mother and them, although they glad to see me, but she was afraid. She said she can't sleep in the house because she was in the house and I was in the house. She's afraid to stay there because she wants to see by a neighbor. And I know in the house, I take the cushion, I take out the cover and them cushion and I put the sponge in them window because I hear they say sponge was whole bullet. So I put it in and think that. But after a couple weeks, they say come back. I didn't really want to go, but my mother started crying and I went back up there. And after I went back up there, I spent 6 years and 8 months. 6 years. It's only when Brizan, the Prime Minister Brizan, George Brizan, when he came in power, he freed us. He freed us. And that is all I could tell you. Because, and I see things happen to people, but for me, I won't lie and say they do me nothing. Because nobody can do me nothing. But I see things happen to people. Nang get shoot up with, I don't know how in there, they get shoot up with 4 times. Yeah? And then, well, Kelly talking, and they locking him up. Yeah, a short ex-police called Stanley. He come out in the morning, as he open him up, they lock him up. And that's the kind of thing, a lot of things happen to people, but nothing to where I concern. I cannot say, by the time I spent up there, I could never say that they do me anything, it was bad to me in a sense. You see, I was mad with them because I say they take me and put me in jail. I had to say for nothing. And I ended up staying there so long. But in my own little experience, what I know is, as far as I know, any country where a revolution take place, the people that take place, the people who they feel close to the people who they take from, they just detain them. But I never know, I just keep them long as how we have to keep people to obey. And that is all I can say. All I can say.
So they refer to you, some people may refer to you as the head of the Mangoose gang.
No. Me?
Yeah.
Well, you people who don't know what's going on. I was in Lisa the Apostle. And who knows to tell you, I was in Lisa the Apostle. Yes, I was there between them. I'm not saying between them, but I was between the guys. But I was in Lisa the Apostle. Me. And the only day. Once I tried to get it from them, and they come home and take me, and the only thing I get is a quarters. But I was in Lisa the Apostle. Who know me will tell you that. Oh, anybody say I was leader, they know what they say. No, they know. Not me. Well, we was together. We used to be lime together. Yes, people get licks. I ain't saying no. People get licks. But some people get licks. The way they say they get licks, so but people get licks. I tell you, I hear Morris and Raleigh and them get licks. So I'm in Grenville. I wasn't there at the time, but I hear so. So I had to lie. People did get licks. I hear people get licks. I know, right? So I wouldn't say no, but saying I only heard I was the least of the apostle. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Before they assassinate Morris, he tried his best. I believe Morris meant good. He meant good. But when he decided to take the right direction, that time they done young off my already. But Morris, I know Morris. Me and Morris went to school together. We went to Wesley Hall School. Right? And I know Morris a long time, right? And I never knew Morris to be a violent fella. So I was most surprised when I heard this assassinating. I was most surprised. Because I never thought they were doing that. Although I heard with my own ears, I was lying with Ralph, that time Ralph Thompson was alive, and Phyllis Code was with Ralph Thompson in the road behind the Pentecostal church. And I hear she say she didn't come to Grenada to be no deputy prime minister's wife. She come in Grenada to be the prime minister's wife. I hear she say that. So all the time I still didn't know what going on. I know they're planning anything, but I never knew what was going on. So I don't know what happened to them, and they end up in that. But Morris wasn't a bad fella. He wasn't that bad fella. So I don't know.
All right, so that was a conversation that I had earlier with
Alton Hood.
what do you concur with some of the things that he said?
Yes. And he was a nice man. He was the closest to me. Although I was very close to Kaiser and Pram. And what he said, it's true. It was a gang. Gary had nothing to do with that. When they're trying to sell the idea that Gary created a Mongoose gang to go and beat people and flush it, boy, I tell you, when you're good at propaganda, and mind you, those guys were educated too. And Gary did not push back and kind of dispel all that foolishness, just destroy it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I speak from eyewitness evidence or the victims. But a lot of people just rambling and saying things, and they can't even tell you 2 crimes in Mongoose gang did. They can't tell you. If you ask them their name, they can't tell you. The bulk of Grenadians are talking about Mongoose gang, Mongoose gang, Mongoose gang. Ask them what the Mongoose gang did. And not only that, all of a sudden you have Mongoose gang in Montreat, you have Mongoose gang in Chantimel, you have Mongoose gang in Guave, you have Mongoose gang in Rose Hill, you have Mongoose gang. Not true. They don't know what a Mongoose is. They will not know. That was part of the Department of Health. So the lies over the years that Grenadians have to dispel and overcome, Junior, I don't know where we starting, I don't know, because those things take root. No. What I want to tell you is what is called something we call context. You have to contextualize everything, right? In the framework of moving Grenada forward, Gary was in power, tried to get independence for us and all of that. The GNP, and if you want to call them bourgeoisie, I don't like that word, but whatever it is, mostly the business people like the Ramdanis and the Purcell and the Nyack and the whatever, I don't know how to call name here. They were anti-Gary. Anything Gary did was bad. And anything bad he did was worse, right? So not even for independence, they wanted Grenada to get independent under Gary.
Mm-hmm.
They opposed it, including Maurice Bishop. Opposed Grenada getting in. Look, they shut down the place, When the Queen came, they had to light up town with what you call Massanto or flambeau. You understand? And they had a penchant for striking and shutting down the town and the docks. So the boat cannot come and offload anything. No food. That is why all these River Road people went and break up by right and start looting because they're hungry, they had to feed their children. But they were using any means necessary to bring down Gary. and using school children from McDonald College and other places to go and demonstrate, just for them to put down Gary so they could get power. So it was a power grab using school children. So in that context, the supporters of Gary, yes, some of them get houses in different places or land in Frequenty and Granners Valley, wherever it is, they go and squat. River Road had a housing scheme. You know, people get land from Gary in Telescope and all those other places, Mount Reach, right? They love Uncle Gary. So the counter demonstration, one demonstration to put down Gary, the people who love Gary, they counter demonstrated. Push come to shove. Hands start to pass, fight start. But they blame everything what happened.
Right.
Not talking about the many times Ralph Thompson, the same Ralphie he talked about. I saw him, I talked to you about him, how the Cubans cut him open from in front of his chest, below his rib cage and come to his back. Well, I understand is a pill they give him to slow poison him. Right? And they just finish him off with a Cuban doctor and all of that, a sergeant. I think his name was Raj Riguez, we used to call him. But long story short, they were good at propaganda. Those propaganda stuck. Everybody in Grenada to this day talking about Gary had a Mongoose gang. Gary didn't know nothing about Mongoose gang. I say it all the time. They work for the Department of Health to eradicate mongoose. And I was telling you, the rat used to eat the sugarcane. Mongoose main meal is rat. Just like how snake eat snake,
Right.
mongoose eat rat. But then the mongoose were spreading rabies. So now they have to kill the mongoose now.
Right. They understand the history of putting them together. Now,
Well, right.
if you and him was
Yeah.
in the same prison around the same time, how did he not see or recollect all the atrocities that was reported? Like he said that he saw instances of people being abused, but not on a wide scale. In fact, he was revered as one of the king of the Mongoose gang, the head, the leader in some circles.
Yeah,
Yet,
but
they never abused him, they never beat him, they never shot him, they never did him anything. And he was not witness to a lot of these. I mean, he saw sporadically, but not on a widespread level. How could he have not seen
yes,
what was so
I
heavily?
would explain. As I said to you, the Mongoose gang, most of them are in the infirmary, where you have sick people. It's a different building. It is different from the main prison.
Right.
Totally different place. So they could be killing me in the main prison. That's before they build the detainee jail.
Right.
Mongoose gang people lock up in a little building which they call the infirmary in the back down so, by where they have the bathroom. So you're overlooking paddock. They can't know. They won't even hear what's happening in the main big jail. In fact, it's not even connected. It's separated.
I see.
He don't know. And then they never brutalize them. This is what I said to you. It is strange to me that I was kicking and screaming. I don't want to go and stay with those guys.
Right.
I don't know them. And I realized it was good staying with them.
Right.
While detainees who they were dragging in, God knows how much coming in a month, under heavy manners, lock up 23 hours a day in a cell. These Mongoose gang people, let's call them that, right? For now, let's call them Mongoose gang. They're walking up and down all outside on the farm and all of that. So he's like, wait. I thought these guys were beasts. And Tan was not nothing. If you want to talk about the head of the Mongoose gang, probably you ought to go to Dudley or Heads. Not Tan. Tan was a darling. And I think he spent some time in the hospital with me too. And then I used to go and stay in Tan house. Spend weekend down there when I don't want to go up in the country. I was working in the Grenadian Voice with Leslie Pierre at the time. Tan was a piece of cake. So when I got out of there, I'm like, I had to scratch my head. When you're young and you're gullible and people could influence you and all of that, you fall for anything people say. This thing was the biggest lie. But as I said, nobody talk about the many times Strand Phillip and Gary knew there were plot on his life. Because I told you those guys from Tivoli used to go around to get Gary many times. They used to call it mission, right? So they could have a revolution. And then Ralphie and Strawn Phillip. But Gary had spies, I know who they are, I would not call the name, within the ranks of the Jewel,
Right.
as well as the Jewel had spies inside of Gary
Okay.
place. So it's like they knew when Gary was traveling. They knew
Right.
Gary was going out, March 13th and all of that. They had connection in the barracks with the Green Beast. Both of them had spies on each other.
Right.
It's like the Democrats and the Republicans. You understand?
Yeah.
So I know exactly, I could call the name, but I would not do that.
Right.
So a lot of the things that he's saying is not true. But when they were trying to bring down Gary, shut down town, starve poor people, no goods coming in, nothing going out, no nothing, put the economy out of whack. The people down there start looting and breaking up stores and stealing, or if you want to call it, they had to feed their family, right? I don't condone that, but I'm just saying when you're hungry, you're hungry. It was
Right.
an attempt. And then they start using school children from the schools, bringing them down to go and demonstrate and all of that. So the Gary people decide now we have to have a counterweight to that. So that is why I said we have to contextualize the whole thing.
Yes.
You put it in context and you
Yeah.
realize they were trying to bring down Gary. So Gary supporters decide, no, you're not going to do that. We go fight back. Clash come, demonstration this way, things are going to happen.
Right.
And that is what happened. But not one of them, those Mongoose gang, they could point out and say, you kill that person or you shoot that person. It
Right.
was just make believe thing. They just pick up all of them and then just jail them for all this amount of years.
Right. Stick a pin right there, Dennis. Let's
Yeah.
take a quick call. We have a caller on the line. Caller, live, where are you calling us from?
Yeah, good night, Junior. Mr. Eli must get again. You know
Hey.
that's my topic.
Historian Specky.
Specky.
I like them history.
Yes.
You know, I like them. Dennis,
Hey.
greetings, my friend. I want to ask a question because I don't learn a lot from you, and
Yes,
I know
Specky.
a lot you said before. You say it from your heart, and I just feel your pain. But
Yes,
part
Specky.
with the Mongoose gang, I kind of getting a little confused. Since a little boy,
Yeah.
I hearing about the Mongoose and wickedness they did. No, I want to ask you a question. So who beat up Bishop and Selwyn Stram and flushed their head in the toilet bowl and everything? Because a little boy, I saw that on the newspaper. And the second question is, who shoot Rupert Bishop, the Bishop father? Who wasn't the Mongoose gang? I just asked him because I was a little boy. Then I always follow my history. All right.
Right. Right. Thank you,
Specky.
Specky, for the question because, those were questions I wanted to know, being nosy myself. I never thought I would be in a position where I want to document anything. I was just trying to survive while I was up there. But they keep bouncing me around all different places. So that's how I come to know all those guys. And by the way, if you see Tan again, tell him Dennis say hi. Because I used to stay in his house. Those guys were not anything close to what they portray them as. And not only that, I'm going to answer your question specifically in a minute, but like in Monkreach, those guys were not going and do Monkreach have banana and cocoa and nutmeg. They were not going and do sugarcane and poison mongoose. Chantimel too. But anytime you're a Gary supporter, you're a Mongoose gang. Or you're in the Mongoose gang. And this thing stuck right around the country. And that is a big fraud. It's a fallacy. That is not the case. Now, I'm not telling you they didn't push and shove and knock a head or two or bust a head because they're breaking up demonstration that wanted to overthrow Gary. So, yes, that did take place. And Tan alluded to it that it did, right? Break up crowd. Because it's one side and this side and that side. They did break up crowd. And it was a physical affair. And people get hurt and maybe bust head. Now, regarding what happened with Bishop and them, the amount of, I don't know, I cannot tell you the number of times they had an assassination attempt on Gary and also on Belma, right? And I don't need to go into names and all of that. Those you already know where I'm coming from, right? Gary knew. Belma knew too. They knew. Right? They knew. And apart from the guys up my area, Ralphie was part of it, and the same Strong Philip that Bishop gave the order to kill the night of the bombing. He was part of the plan to assassinate Gary many times so Bishop and them could take power. Right? They knew. Because they had both of them had mutual spies going back and forth, bringing news, bring go and bring come. Both of them knew. So when they had an attempt something in Grenville at Bishop, and them I think he spent a week and a half or two in Grenville police station, I believe, and they beat him up. But mind you, as I said, I don't condone no violence and no physical attack on nobody.
Right, but was the Mongoose gang involved in killing Bishop's father?
From what I know, they had no evidence, nothing except the innuendo. Just put something on the stick. Because let me ask you, if they know who killed Bishop's father, you don't think that they would hang that person or execute them in Richmond Hill Prison? Try them and put them in front of a firing squad? How come they have never, in all these years of the revolution, they have never identified Tan? You killed Maurice Bishop's father.
Right.
Think, Grenadians, people listening to me around the world. Think, ask yourself a question. Use that upstairs in your head here. Think, if they know whether it's Pram or Kaiser, kill, they just love them so much, they don't want to try them for killing? You believe that kind of garbage? If they know the Mangoose gang, that one here, kill whoever it is, they would not try them and put the evidence for the world to see? Maybe parade them in the market square and then go and hang them? You love them so much, you don't want to put them on trial? Use the common sense up here.
So it seems what we're seeing here right now is almost like a rewrite of history, because we were taught that the Mangoose gang was ruthless. This guy was the most ruthless.
I thought so too. In fact, when I go home, I'm going to look for Tan. I thought he died. And he never took a cent from me for staying in the house anyway. The whole house was mine.
Right.
As I feel like, those things, and myself and Willie, we became good friends. Willie is such a nice man. And he told me he knew my dad because I believe he had a son in Hermitage. So he used to pass and take a drink with my father. And all of them, I to be honest with you, although I was scared of them and I didn't want nothing to do with them, I didn't sleep good for the first couple of nights. In case they want to come and choke me. It wasn't so. They were up and down all outside the prison, walking up and down. Nothing.
Right.
And after the Cubans built the detainee jail,
yes,
we were locked up 23 hours a day in a cell while the Mangoose gang walking up and down free. Well, you kill people, you should not supposed to be outside.
True. Let's take a quick call, Dennis. Let's take a quick call. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
Hello.
Hi, caller. Go right ahead. Where are you calling us from?
Hello. I'm calling from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York. Go right ahead.
I'm actually wanting to, I wanted to speak. I'm a little bit nervous because I just wanted to ask Mr. Denise Charles, and I know he knows me because I'm Brenda's daughter, but I think he spoke of my dad, Mick. So I never knew my dad was involved in anything. And I know I heard him talk about somebody, the person that they were scared of, that somebody killed him. They said, he said my dad, who used to be around Falls and Grenville, which I know my dad used to be around there. So I just wanted to double check to know if it's my dad he's speaking about.
My dear, I would not talk about your mother because I promise you that I'm not going there, right?
Thank you.
Okay. And I have to honor your wish because if I go to talk about your mom, I will break down myself and I got to end the interview. Okay. But your dad was a revolutionary. Your dad was a revolutionary, and the plot to take out Belma, right? Many people were involved in it,
Yeah.
and some of the meetings used to take place in that place in Pearls. And I know others who I'm not going to mention now out of my interviews that were involved in it, including another gentleman from Grenville, to get Belma. Because to them, Grenada would only prosper with Brother Bish in power, and they had to get rid of Gary. Got to go, but for Gary to go, Belma stand in the way because they were scared of Belma. So for Belma children too, if you have children and grandchildren, I guess as much probably watching me now too. I wasn't in this. I'm just telling you that I feel your pain and I'm sorry whatever happened to your guys' family and all of that. But this is how it played out. And that big place that he had in Pearls, there's a whole lot of meeting there.
Yeah.
But eventually, after the overthrow and Bishop and them got into power, then it was a power play. It is called consolidating. So you don't have two jack donkey in a stable. They're going to fight and bite all night. So it end up, it's either code or bishop. But that is how revolution works. They start chewing up the children. It's like serpent when they make the children, they start turning around and eat them, right? So if you go anywhere around the world and you listen to history or you read history of revolutions, for instance, Che Guevara and Fidel Castro, she had to go. He ended up being killed and, he had to go. He's only one king of the hill. So it was a power play between Morris and Code. And it started young. And as Tan said, Bernard Coe's wife, she said she didn't come to be no like second fiddle. No, So this is true. They were eyeing each other up. So Bishop went with his map. Code kept Orel. The Orel group of guys later became the RMC. After they eliminated Bishop, it was tit for tat. One was on a hill overlooking the prison, Fort Frederick. That's Bernard Code, along with Hudson Austin. And Bishop was on another hill, another fort by the hospital, Fort Rupert, we used to call it at that time. So fort here versus fort there. Let the fight begin. Well, the other side had the armor cars, and I guess the big guns and the big soldiers with rank. Bishop had school children and people with nothing in their hand, like Specky and them, they had to run. But regarding your dad was a revolutionary. He was big into music. A lot of folks used to go there and, listen to a little music and whatever. He was a good mechanic himself. And your mother was a lovely woman, including an all-rounder, sports, culture, the whole nine yards. I mean, Brenda could do anything. But I'm not going to talk about her demise and her torture and all of that. So not here tonight. I'm not going to do it. And I promise you I wouldn't talk about her.
Thank you so much, caller. And
All right,
again,
thank you.
you guys should link up and continue the conversation further as well. Guys, 718-701-5720. We're talking about just understanding the chronology of history. This happened in our lifetime. It happened in people who experienced it, who was there, who was present. And our role is to try to put it in context and bring it to you guys. You don't have to be October 19th or October 25th for me to speak about it. Our task is to document the history and put it in that chronological order so we can get a full appreciation for what happened in this time in our history. It's not only Grenadian history, essentially it's Caribbean history. So it's important, even if you're non-Grenadian, all right? So phone lines again are open, 718-701-5720. I saw a call was coming in earlier. I couldn't cut off the person on the line, so you could call us back. Again, 718-701-5720. We're speaking live here with Denise Charles. And of course, we heard earlier from Tan, who was someone who was very involved in the Mangoose gang. All right, let's take this call. In fact, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we got more calls. Guys, your opportunity to call in is right now. Call now.
The government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Finance, is continuing the rollout of its tax amnesty initiative. The amnesty provides 100% waiver of all interest and penalties on all outstanding balances up to the end of December 2021. All taxpayers with outstanding tax balances and outstanding returns to file are encouraged to take advantage of this amnesty. All tax types administered by the division are eligible for tax amnesty. For further information on the tax amnesty, please contact the Inland Revenue Division at 435-6945 or 435-6946. Email tpshelpdesk@ird.gov.gd or visit our website ird.gd. Amnesty ends December 31st.
All right, so we are back, and we phone lines are open again. Caller, you live.
Hello, Junior. Good night.
Hey, good night. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't call you.
Oh, you didn't call in?
No.
Okay, I thought you did.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Okay, right.
Again, guys, 718-701-5720 is your number to call in right now if you want to make a contribution to the conversation. Talking here with Mr. Denise Charles. Dennis, in the meantime, while we're waiting for a call, I want you to talk about the hospital and the hospital facilities.
All right.
There.
So this one might be a hard one, all right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we're gonna go slow. So just bear with me. After sometime early in the morning, I was transported, being shot to the Aqua ward, which is the first part of the hospital coming in. And I was put, we normally call it a stretcher. So I lay on my back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was spread on my back flat with my arms open, and they have this thing extended like an arm to collect blood, and they put a bucket collecting blood. I didn't have much blood left, so the blood was 1 drip, 2 drips dripping, but it wasn't gushing down because all my blood came out at Richmond Hill Prison. And I was terrified. I didn't know if I would live anyway or die, because pretty much I should be dead already anyway. And a lot of clot blood and all of that funny looking, it dripped in the bucket.
Yeah.
And it was and they never give me an ounce of blood. They never give me nothing, or even tie here with a string or something tight to stop, the loss. And it was still in the late afternoon. They come and they got me, and they brought me upstairs in the operating room on the 2nd floor, I believe it was. And they gave me anesthesia. What they did to me, I don't know. All I know is when I come back, my hand banded up to my chest like that with a whole lot of bandage band up, So I was in a sling, in a sling. And so that, and the pain, once the anesthesia went out, it was a lot of pain. I think it was the next day, if it was that much, the next day, the nurses start coming to me and telling me I have to take injection. So I don't like nobody sticking with no needle. And I wasn't going for that. But they tell me they get a call from Richmond Hill Prison that we have to take, because some of the bullets the PRA soldiers had, they were poisonous. But that's the first time I know there is poison bullet. I later learned that you have instant death. I think it has a red stripe from what one PRA told me, but the others, they rot in your flesh. So you die slowly because, it wouldn't kill you the same time, like they have cyanide or arsenic or something in them. So I don't know the chemical composition. I don't know anything about that. But that came from Richmond Hill Prison. And it's like every 3 hours or so. So they stuck so much of that bottom here. Needle was going into needle, and the needle was real big. I don't know if you guys know cocoa knife, what we had sewing cocoa when you want to put cocoa in a bag. It was a big needle, and they had to pump. So when they pump all that stuff, wherever I am at, that's where I stay. And if I want to go on the other side, I have to bawl for the nurse to come and flip me, to twist me to the other side. And by the time it wear out and I could go in the bathroom and pee or something and I come back, is another nurse come again with another needle. Even at night when I sleep in, they would pour water in my eyes to wake me up, to stick me again. So they gave me needle. Needle was going into holes that other needle went in before. So my bottom and my underwear always had blood and blood spots on it. Left side, right side, I can't even sit on good. It was just whole. And they had to pump all that chemical like I was drugged, right? And I had to stay just so until him roll me tired, put me on the other side. But I didn't have a long window. They had to come back again with more needle. So eventually I tell him, well, you're going to have to put, there is no more place because my bottom was so rough, like a cocoa tree or something. And they start injecting me on my left shoulder because I said I'm right-handed. If you do that, I can't use the toilet, I can't bathe. Right? And mind you, when I'm bathing, I have one hand. I have to hold the soap with one hand. And when I go to bed too, the PRA had to stand up with his AK-47 in front of the door, even to use the toilet.
Right.
I had to get permission to use the toilet, and the PRA would come with a long AK-47 and sit down outside the toilet while I use the toilet. So I go to bed, I sleep at night under the gun, I wake up under the gun, I go in the toilet with the gun, and all day there are PRAs with gun at the hospital. Like if I'm
and this is your recollection of this whole story here is so amazing, right? You were treated about 100 times worse than the
Mangoose gang.
Mangoose gang.
That's what I'm saying.
Interesting. So hold on 1 second, Dennis. Hold on 1 second. Take a pin right. Let's take this call. I'm waiting on the phone for a while. Caller live, where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from St. Thomas, but originally from Greenwich.
Hey,
I have a question pertaining to Bishop. I want to ask him, in his own words, did Bishop was a bad person or the people around him? I mean, what is it that so many things happen and, well, I could say, well, Bishop being labeled for it because he was the lead. Can you give, in your own words, really who Bishop were or the people around him who polluted the environment around him?
Okay. All right. Thank you for that question. In my hearts of heart, I worship Maurice Bishop. So I have to get that out. I wasn't a Gary supporter. My parents were not Gary people. Growing up in Tivoli there, everybody my age, young guys, is Brother Bish. That's what I used to call him. Even when I was there, initially I thought he would send and get me out to a condemned cell or wherever, call me in the house, talk to me and tell him put me on a bus. Right? Although my detention order was signed by Maurice Bishop, and my last conversation we had when they tried me, which they didn't have anything to try me for. So just imagine if they had nothing to try me for, and they couldn't even try the Mangoose gang. Put it that way. So just, put that in a pipe and smoke it. When I got outside, they rearrested me and gave me another detention order signed by Maurice Bishop of being in a plot to overthrow the government of Grenada. Well, I was just inside the courthouse and I win the case. Nobody come and testify. They had nothing. And I reach outside, instead of going and meet my mother and go up in Tivoli, you give me another order, put me back on a PRA jeep and bring me back again and lock me up again in jail. For another plot again. So there are two plots now to overthrow the government. I mean, so just wrap your finger around that. So in terms of whether he was good or not good or bad, I believe initially that is not what he wanted. And for some reason, I know a fish rot from the head, and he's the head of the government, a fish rot from the head. So, he has to take responsibility. But in the early days, he did promise free and fair election. He did. And in the early days, he was, so when the transition came and why he went in that direction, I don't know why he went there. But I believe the time came when he had to show that, and forgive me for using that word, that his balls was bigger than Donald Cook balls. In other words, who could do worse? Because you have to be a real communist, a real Marxist hardline, and then he start talking about putting people under heavy, heavy, heavy manners.
Could it also be that a lot of the PRAs was taking matters into their own hand?
That's
because
true too.
they have dispute with other people, and they use the revolution at that particular time just to take advantage of the people. Because they was one with the gun.
Yeah, that is true. But what happened when they pick up all kind of dog and cat, right, and bring them in there? Why didn't he say, okay, come, give me 10 guys, let me question them, I'm an attorney, and bring you evidence, and send them people, children home? He never did that. Folks were woken up 4 morning, 5 o'clock, whatever, out of the house in the pajama and end up in jail. And not only that, I'll tell you something you never heard before, and I want folks to listen and write it down. It is called A Train is Living. Right? I have that in my, so a train is living. What does a train is living mean? It means that the prison full and they're picking up so many, they got to make room. So guess who they release? Those convicts, those prisoners, and they're mocking us, right? Because we lock up inside, and now they're going and pick, okay, you out, you forget what crime they commit. And they it's like a joke, like a mockery, right? A train living. You release 10, 15 prisoner because you need the room, the cells, to put detainees who committed no crime. And those guys going home, not even serving out their sentence that they did things guilty. In fact, they used to tell us, you guys ain't coming out, I'm going home. I know where I'm going because I commit a crime. You guys are here indefinitely. You ain't going home. And psychologically, it used to be so hard on us because it is true. Our detention says indefinite. Jesus Christ could come twice and go back in heaven, and we're still in there.
And it's different
indefinite.
It's different than, again, Tan, who said that he was given 28 years. But we'll get back to that. We got a call on the line. Let's take this quick call.
Yes.
Caller, where are you calling us from?
Hi, good evening. I'm calling from Boston, Mass.
Boston,
Hi,
Mass.
Dennis. How are you?
I'm doing fine, lady.
This is Desi, Brejo's daughter.
Ah, Desi, we just met in Florida.
Yes. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, do you remember the Stanislaus brothers that got killed?
Oh,
They
my.
had left Hermitage and going back to Sautez. One of the brothers was supposed to go back to England the next day.
Yes,
they
Daisy, I know.
Coming from our house in Hermitage. I remember I lived in New Jersey, and there was one person that I was told that was part of the killing. I could
Don't
say
call names. Don't call names. Don't call names.
No. Well.
Don't call names. Don't call names.
Well. Okay. But I know they said he was from Hermitage also. While we was living in New Jersey, he used to be in our house. But I'm not sure. Well, he knew. He had to know that was our family because my mom maiden name is Stanislaus.
Oh, okay.
Right. So So you remember that, right? Do you remember, how all of it happened? Who was part of it? You don't have to say no names because you say you don't call no names.
Yes. So that's a very good question.
Elaborate a little on that.
Yes. So I would not call any names for obvious reasons. All right. So yes, they were involved in the cadet. One of them was a big cadet, and they were friendly with Steve Lalsey, who was also a cadet. But Steve Lalsey would not join the PRA. Steve Lalsey is connected to Dr. Japal and all of that. You know how they close, right? Dr. Japal, Kenny Lalsey, all the people like that, right? So they were looked upon as, if you're not in the PRA and you're big joiner, then you're a counter. They don't need proof. You look like a counter, you smell like a counter. That's what they used to tell us, right? So Steve was a Mac man. So they were friendly with Steve. And, back then, guys do what they got to do, go and look for a little girlfriend, whatever. And they were coming back in the car, which is true. But the color of the car was something like green or greenish blue in that neighborhood there. And I could say to you, it could have been mistaken identity. I am not sure. But I can tell you that most likely one guy shot into his two brothers without naming names, and the other names I'm not going to say on the air.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carl.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Again, guys, 718-701-5720. We're gonna be on for another 10 minutes or so we could get interactive with your questions. You could call in live right now. Again, 718-701-5720. Caller, you live? Hello?
Yes, good night. I'm from the UK. As little boy, my dad was locked up by Bishop because he was a secret police for Gary and them. And he beat a guy, I don't call his name. And as little boy, we have to go down and bring food, and we have to stay hungry. And when we reach down there, we have to taste everything. And when we give your father the food, and he go with it, he's not getting the food. The parent was eating it, and they're laughing at him. And they had him blindfold. And the mother have to go and talk to the same FLJ my father beat up. And he tell her what to do for him was to release them. They charter them and tell them that they're going to bury them. And they had a tractor dig in. And they give them a cup to drink. And they say drink, and everybody free to drink. And when you drink, was a black stage tea. So in the ending, he said when you can beat them, you join them. So he joined them in the ending, and he become a militia.
Oh, right. Are you related to Ethelbert John?
No. He was my mother's good friend, but my father and a lot of chessmen, all of them make jail together.
Okay. All right. Because Junior, I have to give you the names of a couple of the children who were born in prison. Do you know there were children who were born up at Richmond Hill Prison? Born jailbird, born like giving birth in jail
prison
during the revolution. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So that would be for another show. But regarding one of the daughters of Mr. Ethelbert, who was friendly, I guess, with your family, she contacted me the Monday after I came out from Junior, the following day from Junior show, and she was crying too much. She was crying, and I had to go out. So I had to be strong to go out there.
How it started? How it started with my dad? He come out and see after the cow, and when he coming down, the guy tell him drop the cutlass, and he say, "Why don't run, man? The go around work to do." And my father, I see what I just go and see after me cow.
And just so they arrested him.
Then they take him out and they go with, but he was like chat to us. Yeah. Because when they say they ask him who he going to leave in charge, and he say I'm going to leave him in charge, and they go for him. They go for my father. But my father could not really read and write properly, and think he was just more a driver for the man.
All right.
I still love the revolution.
We're gonna talk. You can get me on YouTube. I mean WhatsApp and Messenger. So I'll call Junior.
I'll share the number with you guys so you guys could communicate.
All right.
Yeah. a lot of stories coming out from these. I mean, after the first conversation, we had so many calls from even some of the young people that were born in prison. They were born in jail.
Yeah.
I'm sure they themselves have their own story to tell. But we at that point, Dennis, we are at a wrapping down point, and we're going to close it off right here.
Yeah.
There was so much said today. There was so much stuff that I'm sure, even by Tan's story, there would be many responses from many different circles that might have their own point of view on this. So we expect that. So let's close it off, Dennis. What going forward? How do we go forward? How do we come together? How do we try? Is it that we're trying to put these things behind us? Is it that we're going to live with this for the rest of our lives? They're going to be burdening us for the rest of our life, or rest of our lives? What's the plan going forward?
And I'm very happy that you asked that question, because regarding the young lady who just called, her mother was so brutally tortured and with electricity and some of the things that they did and where they torture her. I'm not going to talk about that because she's probably still listening on the program. So I'm not going to go there. But the only way I see forward is for Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell to empanel a Truth and Reconciliation Commission or a Truth Forum. And number one, you have to establish that we're not prosecuting nobody or want revenge.
Yeah.
All the lies, the big wall of lies that they made to justify what they did, is crumbling down. We know that already. But we are not looking to put them in jail and get vengeance and revenge on them for what they did to us. But that stellar image of the revolution and this and glorious, that is just hogwash and hypocrisy, pure lies, right? The brutality that they did. So it was a reign of terror based on an AK-47 that you could terrorize people into cowardice and everybody hush them up because you just have to look like a counter and you're going in jail. And we're not dealing with the Rastas and them in Hopeville. We leave that alone. And it is brutal. So the only way, and we don't want Grenada to repeat that kind of stuff, is finally, since Bernard Code came out and said, yes, they were paranoid and all of that, what happened? Come out and bring the detainees or the political prisoners, sit on a table here and bring the other guys and them sit there. We're not prosecuting nobody. And let everybody put out their evidence, what they did to them, and write it so our children could learn our history. Other than that, we're just wasting time. Long live this Revo, this glorious revolution. We're just wasting time. Hogwash.
Yeah.
Just bullshit. Bullshit.
So the truth, just
tell the truth.
Of the truth.
Just tell the truth. Put it out there, whether you like it or you don't like it, or you make Bishop look this because everybody want to make him a hero. As I said to you before, my hero stands for righteousness. My hero stands for justice. Tillman Thomas is my hero. Why? When they were doing all that wickedness to us, Tillman Thomas decided to take a stand and speak up against it. Himself and Leslie Pear and Lloyd Noel. Well, he ended up spending the rest of the revolution in jail.
Right.
He came out with Ronald Reagan. That is my hero because you stand for something that is good. Not if you stand for inflicting pain and suffering, breaking up families, jailing everybody without charge and trial. You're not no hero to me.
Yes. All right, let's take this final call. Let's take this final call and let's lock it off. Caller live, where are you calling us from?
Yes, I'm calling from Concord area.
Concord area, go right ahead.
Concord area, yes. Junior, I had a stepfather. They used to call him Mohud. But his name was Honorad Nelson.
Yeah.
Name Honorad. He used to work with Central Water Commission, going and clean the dam and stuff in Concord Mountain. The order was given to shoot him because he was a karateka, and they wanted to get rid of him. Some guys met him in Codford Road, and they shot him and left him on the ground. They shot him on the ground. A friend of his, who was a former guy in Gary, an army person. He got a guy in Sotes to give them a ride to take him to the hospital. Right? That man ended up staying for years. The Cubans had to end up building a foot for him, you know. He lived for years with that foot like that. And later on, that was the end result of the AK-47 that shot him. End up poisoning him because he ended up dying afterwards later, having 2 strokes and stuff like that. So he was amputated and stuff like that. And he died.
Yeah.
You understand? So this thing about the revolution, that was a lot of pain for me because that man, as my stepfather, was really my father. He who sent me to school. He who got me teaching at 17 years old. You understand? So this thing about Chicken coming and talk this nonsense there. Chicken knew about that because Chicken was a part of that order that was given to get rid of that man.
Well, I know a lot about Chicken, and don't worry that Chicken, don't worry him. May the Lord, as I said, the good Lord above, Junior.
Yeah. So
may He look down with mercy on them.
I needed to share that. I just needed to share that. Thank you
very much.
All right, caller. Thank you so much. Let's wrap it up here. Guys.
Yeah.
Everyone have a story to tell. And that's what we're all about. There are many more stories that will be told. And again, we don't have to wait on October 19th, October 25th, March 13th to share this story. We are in pursuit of the historical facts. And while I'm here in Grenada, I'll do whatever I can to speak to, get some of the people that was around at this time that could help us understand that, so we can have a better sense of what happened in our past, so we could try not to make sure that something like that don't happen in the future. Let's get a quick commercial break. Dennis, last words, final words, and then we have to wrap up. We went over time.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell you, Johnny, I appreciate the show, but I appreciate enlightenment. You know, we say often that knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge is wisdom. So we all are the wiser, and knowing our history, so we don't repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yes.
And we don't latch on to just propaganda and, big dirty lies that they fooled us with over all these years. Over 3,000 detainees in just 4 years. If you divide how many months in 4 years, just see how many detainees they arrest every month, and they can't even charge them with a crime. That wasn't no glorious revolution. That was abuse, a lot of torture, execution, people abusing Hopeville, which I want the NDC government to make a national museum. Let the world come and see what man can do to man, well, actually Grenadians. So fellow Grenadians, thank you very much. My name is Denise Charles, and in soon order, you'll get more to read. Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Dennis. Let's take a quick commercial break, guys, and I'll come back with final closing words. We'll be right back.
As we celebrate 50 years of independence, I love my Grenada. Made in Grenada presents the celebration of 50 years of Calypso. Open be a beautiful night, honey. One stage. No, not so fast. One show. Music holding me, controlling. Grenada's best Calypsonians performing Grenada's greatest hits. Don't take it out. Sunday, February 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m. sharp, Grenada National Stadium. More information coming soon.
When the DJ play Peter Humphrey, she raise she hand and she tell me, making no place sweeter than home.
I want you folks to play these 3 games from the NLA. daily victory cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play Victory Cash Flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sandy Money.
The Ministry of Tourism and Economic Development and the Grenada Tourism Authority extend a warm welcome to visitors and returning nationals visiting for Carnival and summer vacation. We do hope you enjoy your stay with us, and we invite you to return with friends and family to celebrate our 50th anniversary of independence on 7th February 2024. Tourism is my business, your business, our business.
Now, get ready to conquer the road with Zion Driving Instructors, conveniently located at 1782 Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We are your ticket to driving success. We are known for and specialize in the best rates for driving classes, ensuring you reach your driving goals affordably and efficiently. Our expert instructors offer personalized one-on-one training, making you a confident and skilled driver. Plus, we offer convenient 5-hour classes and various packages deal to give you even more value. Ready to take the wheel? Call us today at 718-374-5678. That's 718-374-5678. Or visit ZionDrivingInstructors.com. That's ZionDrivingInstructors.com. Zion Driving Instructors, your journey to the open road starts here. Contact us and make your driving dreams a reality. Mention this ad and get a 5% off selected package.
Yeah. Tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, the 31st of October. If you're in Grenada, all road leads to the Carnage. All road leads to the Carnage, guys. It's the 50th anniversary official launch. And it starts at 4 p.m. sharp. Again, that's on the Carnage. Come and witness the official, guys. This is the official kickoff of the 50th anniversary of independence. The theme will be unveiled, and the song, there's a special remarks by the Prime Minister and others. It's a massive event on the Carnage tomorrow. After show featuring local Grenadian artists as well. Stick and stay. If you're not in Grenada right now, you could keep it locked to Ride Along Live. We're bringing the entertainment and full coverage from 4 p.m. tomorrow from the Carnage. Again, guys, come down to the Carnage tomorrow, the official launch of the 50th anniversary of independence on the Carnage tomorrow. Don't miss it. Also, guys, don't forget that if you have not yet gotten your sweater, your t-shirt, your polo, your hoodie, you can get it right now at ridebuy.com. That's ridebuy.com. Order right now online at ridebuy.com. All right? It's going to be on sale. We are already on sale. We sold over 100 of these already, and it's a limited edition. So when you finish, it's done. No more, right? Limited edition. Get it right now. Click that link and purchase right now. It will be shipped directly to you. So no excuse. Get it right now. That link was just put into the comment section. So just click that link right now and purchase tonight. Dough stick.
For a limited time, the NLA has dropped all of the 2X balls from the multi-X draw. This means that you, our valuable players, have greater chances of multiplying your winnings up to 5 times more in our 2X drop promotion. Yay! And that's not all. As an additional bonus, there will be fewer free play or FP balls to draw from too. Now you have more reasons to add multi-X to your playway bets. So, value your dreams, win your way, and multiply your winnings up to 5 times more in the NLA's 2X Dropped promotion. Promo runs until
Cathwell Stationery Services Limited announces its massive blowout sale on all stationery for school and office. Get copy paper at just $18 per ream. Enjoy up to 18% off folders, cardstock, Bristol boards, ink and toner cartridges, laptops, office furniture, and more. To order now, call 442-5848 or 5747. Or call 435-3377 and get free delivery island-wide and the lowest prices nationwide. Or visit our outlet on Scott Street, St. George's, where we guarantee the lowest prices daily. Cathwell Stationery Services Limited, the reliable office supply people.
Also, guys, we got to tell you about this. And we've been telling you about this. If you have not yet gotten or downloaded the Ride Along app for your Fire TV, do that right now. Go into your app store in your Fire TV and download Ride Along Live. You can watch all the all the programs, guys. Every single program, including this one on Fire TV worldwide. Guys, this is not the end of our history probing on the revolution of Grenada. We'll continue to bring you more information and continue to make the calls because we want to bring it, right? So there might be folks out there that would have some information they would like to share with us. We more than welcome you. We more than welcome you with open arms to share your historical recollection, all right? Give us a call, inbox us. We want to hear from you. Also, if you are a small business, a micro business, or a big business, and you want to advertise, you want to spread the word, you want to get this information out there to a massive viewership worldwide, please give us a call or inbox us. We have some great deals, especially for November, right? Great deals, discount for the month of November. Give us a call right now or inbox Ride Along Live. Inbox or call 718-701-5720. All right, so guys, tomorrow we're going to be on the Carnage. I want to see you guys there. Denise Charles, thank you so much, my friend. Our senior executive producer, Lois JJ, thank you so much. Very hardworking, as always. Our moderator, Kibbs. Gail, big up yourself. Thank you so much. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Good night.